Okay, so you're in third grade.
Okay, I'm in the third grade, and I have a friend in our little neighborhood, Roger Barnett and Billy Bradley, my two buddies. And it was summer vacation time. We were over at Roger's, and Roger's mom, actually, we were doing a little wrestling, nothing harsh, but I was sitting on top of Billy, and he was looking up, and there's trees in the front yard of Roger's house, and he's looking up.
So you're wrestling and holding him down.
Yeah, I'm holding him down, you know.
Rough house, playing.
I mean, we're not mad at each other, we're just doing a little wrestling, and so I'm on top of Billy, holding his shoulders down, and he's looking up at the trees. He said, "Oh, Phil, there's flying saucers going over." I said, "Yeah, right. You're lying to me, so I'll let you up." "No, really, get up and see this." "No, come on." And so finally, he's so sincere and earnest about it. I say, "Okay," and we look up. There's nothing there. Whatever. So Billy says, "Well, I got to go home for lunch." So he leaves. My mom works, and so they didn't. Roger's mom calls him and says, "Roger, it's time for you to come in and eat." And so I'm waiting for Roger
So
to
you
come
didn't get
out,
invited.
and I'm waiting in the front yard where I had Billy down, and I'm laying there on the grass. Nice, warm, sunny day. I guess maybe June, and I'm looking up through the trees, and I see this thing go over, and first I think it's up in Michigan. This is in Michigan, outside of Detroit. Up north, there's these weeds, and they have like little seed pods with like a little parachute that blow around, and I'm watching this go over, and I think, oh, it's one of those little seed pods going over. And then when I look, I realize, well, it went over the tree, so this can't be my perspective. And I thought, I stand up and I look, and there's another one and another one, and it was like this. I'm looking, like, this is the trees here. I'm looking up, and I see this thing go over, and it's round, and there's a dark area in the middle. And I'm thinking it's a milkweed pod, and it passes on back into the trees here. It's gone. It's something better than this. And I'm thinking, I wonder what that was. And then suddenly there's another one, and there's a row of these. And they're just floating by. And I think, oh my goodness, Billy saw these just a few minutes ago. And so I get out from the trees out in the yard where I can look up better. I don't know if I can. And I see a whole series of these flying over.
Are they in a straight line, or are they flying in?
Okay, let me show you how they're flying like this. They have the dark, and I mean, it looks white or silvery. I can't tell how high they are, but they're way above the trees. Now, we did have an Air Force base close, but these are not airplanes.
Where was this at?
This is in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan.
Dearborn, Michigan. What's the name of the Air Force base? Do you remember?
The airport was Wayne Metropolitan Airport. I don't. We need.
You don't know the name of the Air Force base?
But then, I mean, there's a lot of these, and they're not a V formation like this, like you might expect airplanes to fly in.
It was not a V shape.
Was not, but they come off to the side. And so I'm watching this, and I cry. I hollered to my friend Roger, who was eating. I said, "Roger, you've got to see this. Come on out here." It's what Billy told us about. And so my friend, was this cleaner?
Yeah. If it works. So your friend what?
So let me clean this off here.
So when was this? 1957.
I would say this was 1950. Let's see. Okay, I was born 19. I would say 53 or 4.
Oh, 53 or 4. Okay.
3 or 4, because I was in like the third grade at school. So let me.
So they weren't flying in a V shape. They're just, some of them were off to the
I'll
side.
show you what formation it was. Okay.
So then what happened? You get your friend and you see him.
Okay, so my Roger comes out. This doesn't. So the formation would have been like this. This isn't one that marked right.
I'll get the black one. It's right there, Dad.
About like that. That's about the size they looked. And then off to the side, there's another formation coming out like this. They're all moving this way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all in formation.
So how many do you think you saw? 20 or 30?
Well, what we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There may have been another one. And I mean, again, like I'm saying, there's we're in this front yard, and you've got to go a lot of trees in the yard, so you got to get a good view. And like I was saying, Roger, not Roger, but Billy, the guy I'm wrestling, he sees them first. Says, "Hey, flying saucer." And I thought, yeah, right. And then after maybe 15 minutes after he's gone, I'm laying there. Then I see him. And then I call my friend Roger. He comes out. So it wasn't just me. And it was a clear, bright, sunny day. And again, the formation is like this. And they're not airplanes. I mean, we had some jets in that area, but you can tell an airplane. These were perfectly circular with a dark area. I'm not saying it's black, but there was a, your conventional, I guess, flying saucer. I didn't see them at the side like this, but some people would say, well, it looks like that. I'm looking, obviously, if I could see the edge, it might look like that. I can't say. I'm just telling you what I saw. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't in the middle of the night. It was maybe lunchtime. So I know, I would say it was June, maybe 1954, about 12 o'clock during the day. And I wasn't the only one. My friend Roger saw them, or I should say Billy.
What were their names? You remember their first and last names?
Billy Bradley and Roger Barnett. They're
Interesting.
my age now, in their 70s, I guess. But I saw it, and I know there was another instance about that same time. I have two cousins, Bob and Jim. They're about my age, and they were visiting my grandparents. We were sleeping in the garage, and it was at nighttime, and something went by our window of the garage. We all got up and looked at it, and it was like this. Only it was bright, shiny, and in the middle of the night, nighttime. And we called our uncle to come out and see it, and it had gone by. And I'm not sure it was exactly the same thing, but it was within...
Was it also Michigan?
Huh?
Was that in Michigan too?
It was in Michigan, yeah.
Both these incidents.
But that was another instance where it wasn't just me. But
so Bobby and Jimmy saw it too.
Bobby and Jimmy saw. It was at night. This was another incident several months later, and it was this thing was bright enough that it kind of illuminated. We got out of our beds and went outside the garage, and it went by.
Interesting. You'd ask them about it.
It was more the edge, I would say. I mean, I'm putting this together. It may have been a completely different manifestation, but this, and again, that's what the airplanes in the area looked like that. This was not. It was perfectly circular. I mean, circular. And like I said, when I first saw it, I thought they were milkweed seed pod floating over. And again, it wasn't just me. But it fits in, I'll have to say, with the conventional understanding of what a flying saucer looked like. It was round. It had this black area in the middle.
Well, it wasn't totally black though. It's darker.
I wouldn't say black. I would say it would be darker. This was, I'm not saying it may have been white. It may have had it didn't look metallic.
It did not?
I mean, it's probably way up there. Like first it went over the trees, or what made me know, I thought it was local. I mean, it's something that just a few feet up in the air.
But it flew over the tree branches.
Yeah, and when I realized the perspective I had, oh, it's above the tree. And then when I got out in the yard, I realized not only is it above the tree, it is way up there. I would say 20, 30,000. What is 20,000 feet, 5,000? Probably a couple miles up. I don't know if they were quite this big. I mean, I don't know how big they were, just how big they appeared to be. But it seemed to be the size of a typical milkweed pod, the little parachute deals that the milkweeds had. But that's what we saw many, many, many years ago. And I mean, I didn't, see any spacemen or anything like that. But I mean, when you see it, you think, well, it had to be an airplane. But it wasn't, it was not an airplane. There wasn't any sound. These things were just floating. There was a bunch of, zip zap, it's gone. It was like they were just slowly floating by. That's about,
That's about it?
three of us,
Oh.
Roger, Billy, and I, on a bright summer day, saw these things. About 1954, I would say it was.
Okay.
That's it.
Hello, I'm Dr. Missick, and I want to say a little bit about the video you just watched. This is my father, who's a very conservative, evangelical, Bible-believing Christian and a preacher. And when he was a little boy, he saw several UFOs in one, I guess 2 incidences. I never really talked about the second incident too much. But my dad's not a, UFO crazy person out there. There's like these ufologists and, he's not inclined really to believe in UFOs at all. But he had this sighting, so since he's not someone who's inclined to be into UFOs, obviously he's telling the truth. This is something that really happened, an actual incident. As a child, there's a lot of things that I'm very skeptical about UFOs. But now that the Navy has released this flight data recorder, it's disturbing that it's a grainy, fuzzy picture, but it's a real picture from the Navy of an actual encounter with a UFO. And the pilots came out and said that this happened. So we have first-hand testimony, not second, third, or fourth-hand, not rumors. Somebody told me something about this years ago. These are eyewitness accounts, people talking about what they saw and providing it's terrible, crappy footage, but it's actual footage nonetheless. And obviously the government has better footage of this incident and they're not releasing it. And that's why I made this video, because this information is becoming public, and I think the public has the right to know. As a Christian, Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." What does that mean? What are these objects? Are they most likely aliens from another world, from outer space? Perhaps. Is it something spiritual in nature? Is it something from this world? Time travelers in the future? Maybe the government doesn't know everything, but I think they have a general idea of what's going on here, because these are obviously they're actual events, and I think that the public has the right to know. There's a lot of ramifications for understanding our world, our universe, our place in it, the nature of God, the nature of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we might have to reinterpret and widen perhaps our understanding of the Bible and God's revelation through Christ. I think Jesus has an everlasting and eternal gospel. But I think that, one of the things I like about the Bible, especially the time of Jesus, is we know what happened in history, and you can go to the Holy Land, you see the archaeological evidences, and I think that we need to have facts out there, and it's not good. So anyway, these pilots are coming out saying that, there's like a form of disclosure that, there are some of these sightings. We'll just take the Project Blue Book. The man who's helming that project, said that 15% of all UFO sightings or so were unexplained. So something's going on. A lot of them could be explained by natural phenomenon, or some kind of illusion or mistaken identity, or a crazy person. But a small percentage of these UFO experiences and sightings are apparently real. So something really is going on, and I think the public has a right to know. And like I said, there's a lot of ramifications and thinking through and reinterpretations we might have to do. But anyway, NASA came out and said that releasing these facts could seriously damage our national security, and I think that's baloney. It's offensive. So here we're on the verge of finding out what's a little bit about what's going on with UFOs, and then they're going to do continue the cover up. And some people go, well, the reason why they're doing the cover up is because of religion, and they don't want to destroy the churches. I don't buy that, because as evangelical Christian, you see professors and Hollywood actors and TV shows like The Handmaid's Tale attacking and ridiculing my beliefs all the time. So I don't think it's that. I don't know what's going on, but I think the public has a right to know. So since they're doing this cover up, which I think is wrong, unethical, and immoral, I just said, well, my dad saw a UFO. Maybe I talk to people. I only know two people personally who've seen a UFO. It's my friend Chuck. I'm gonna track him down and get a video of him saying what he saw. Apparently, I guess some cousins were with Dad when they had this UFO sighting, so maybe I can go visit with them and ask them if they remember it to record as well. So we need to get the truth out there. It's not right to cover this up. Like I said, we don't know. That's the thing. That's the reason why I'm not really a big UFO guy, because I like to study history and facts and science, hard science, not speculation. It could be, this could be a spiritual phenomenon, angels and demons. It could be most likely aliens from another planet. We don't know. But I think the government, maybe, like I said, maybe they don't know, but they have a good idea. It could be, possibly, which I doubt it, is, what if it's the Russians or Chinese? It's impossible. It's either a spiritual phenomenon or aliens from another world. And whatever it is, I think the public at this point has a right to know. These things, I think, have been going on throughout mankind's history. And I think we saw an uptick after the bombing of, when we developed the atomic bomb, that stimulated somehow more UFO activity. But even then, right, it's been 75 years. And during World War II, a lot of pilots saw UFOs, like these pilots just a few years ago did. They're called them Foo Fighters. And that's what they thought. They thought maybe it's experimental, not Nazi aircraft, but apparently it's whatever these UFOs are. So this is something that's been going on for at least 75 years, probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. So I think it's time for the people to know a little bit what's going on, and until we get the facts out, that people have had experiences, need to talk about it so we can get as much truth and facts out there as possible. So there you go. That's why I put this video together. See you later.